with you with another episode of What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless list. And I'm sorry I didn't get on yesterday. Like I told everyone on the days, General Hospital and um, Bold, I was busy trying to get those taxes together. I'm a procrastinator. I got it last minute. They rejected. I was like, I got to do my taxes. But so this episode today, out of 1 out of 10, y'all know how we do. I'm gonna give this. It was like a 7. I mean, I don't even remember this episode. I remember it, but it wasn't like anything where I'm just like, ooh. But I mean, it was still a solid episode, so I'm gonna give it a 7, 6, 7. All right, so stay with me because there was a lot of moving parts. But I'm gonna get rid of Rafe. So Rafe and Sharon meet up, and he's going on his trip or whatever. Now Sharon doesn't mind him going on his trip, and she's being very supportive. She's getting them food, she's getting them coffee, she's doing all this or whatever. She's happy. So then Chelsea and Connor show up, and of course she didn't mind that he went on the trip with Connor. The problem Sharon is having that she's not sharing is that, watch Chelsea, you said you had such a hard time finding the tickets, but all of a sudden you could find this, your trip gets postponed, the meeting or date or whatever gets postponed, and now all of a sudden you can find these tickets as one extra tickets. When you said to multiple people you had such a hard time finding the tickets. And so it's just like, girl, what are you talking about? But anyways, we're gonna let that go. So Rafe is just talking to Connor, it's almost like a father dad thing. But and so Chelsea is there, and Chelsea and Sharon starts talking, and Sharon being nasty nice. She be one of those like where you give somebody something and you could clearly see on her face she is not happy with this. So Chelsea said, are you sure you're okay with this? Because you don't seem like it. And she was like, no, I don't mind Rafe going or whatever. And she said, well, what about me? Like she said, because and Sharon's like, because of our history or because of the history you have with Rafe, trying to poison him and all. And and Chelsea is just like, I'm trying to be a better person. I find it so ironic that that's the exact same thing. Like Sally had to tell Chelsea the same thing when Chelsea was trying to give her the cold shoulder. And now Chelsea is having to do this to Sharon. Anyway, she just tells her, I'm a different person now. I'm not that same girl who was just a meanie and crazy and vindictive and wrong. I'm not that same girl anymore, and everything. So she just tells her, all right, we're going you I mean it's okay. Let's just move forward as friends and let's not make stuff be there that's not there. But clearly it is Sharon. So they get packed up and everything, and Sharon gives Rafe a kiss, and he gives her a kiss or whatever. It's a kiss. They're husband and wife. He gives her a kiss. It's a nice kiss. There's nothing wrong. Baby, Sharon said, come on back over here. Let me give you a kiss so you can remember what you got at home. And he said, you keep that when I come back. She said, I will. And Chesley looking like, y'all know that so people be tickling me. But anyway, so Chelsea was just like, okay, I see. It's so many. Because Chelsea knows Sharon is not comfortable with this. So they say, you got everything? And he's like, we got food, we got drinks, we got, oh, see, Rafe had got a new jacket, right? And Sharon had mentioned, you got a new jacket? And he was like, yeah, I just decided to debut it in Chicago. And so he had put the tickets and the Blackhawk tickets in his old jacket. So he's like, oh man, I got to go home and change jackets. And Connor was like, hurry back. And he said, I will. I'm just going to go home real quick, get the tickets out of that jacket, and I'll be back. And so so Chelsea and Connor go sit outside. So then we see that who else was on here that wasn't really a part of that? Adam and Victoria talk, right? So Adam and Victor talk, and Victor says, "Good job, my boy." And y'all see, Victor didn't he let Adam sit in the big boy chair. He let Adam keep his chair, and Victor sat in the guest chair. Because he don't do that too often. He always takes their seats. But anyway, so Adam, Victor was just like, you did it. You got him out and everything, and it was worth it. And he said, yeah. He was like, listen, because at the end of the day, we got a whole inter prize. Like, we got lock enterprise, and all we had to pay was a measly, a mere 500 million. And Victor was like, sometimes the way things work out, because at the end of the day, yeah, it was 500 million, but you got this man out of y'all life, and you got his company, which was worth more than that, and everything, and you saved face for Victoria. And so then Adam starts talking, and he says, I know Victoria hates that her plan didn't work, so she could rub it in my, throw me under the bus. And Victor said, we don't have time for that. Support your sister or whatever. And Adam was like, you know what? You right. You right. I'm gonna stop talking like that. I'm just gonna support. And he was like, yeah, that's what you do. So then Nick and Nikki come in, and they tell him, they said, he went for the deal, and he's out of our lives. He signed the agreement to get this marriage annulled, to give money back and everything. And Nick and Nikki are just like, huh, well, thank you, Adam, and everything. It's like, even when they were thanking Adam, it was just like begrudgingly. I don't know, like, he did what y'all could not do. Y'all, Nick, you was sitting over there talking all big about, I'm gonna get him out of our life, and Nikki, you just be like, Victoria, I just want to support you and help you. And none of y'all could do anything. None of y'all got him out, but Adam did. You might not have liked his methods, and you might not like the reasons why he did it, but he did it. He did exactly what y'all wanted. So they say, so now Nikki's like, I'm worried about Ashland. And Victor said, why are you worried about Ashland? He said, because who knows what he can do, you know? And Nikki tells them that the reason he signed is because Ashland really signed that because he thought he was going to double cross the Newmans again. It would have gave him nothing but pleasure to have Victoria run off with him after he had got 500 million from her family. So he was like, so she was telling them like that Victoria agreed to this because that was the way to get him to sign. And they were like, oh my gosh, she's still in love. She was like, yeah, she's still in love with him, but she knows what needs to be done. So Victor said, I don't have people still following Victoria, but I do have them still following Ashley. So then we go to the office, and Ashland is in the office with Victoria, and he's so happy. He's like, come on, girl. Well, I got this money. Let's go on ahead and start our new life. And Victoria said, you couldn't possibly believe that I was actually going to leave with you. And he said, wait a minute, what? And she said, all the lying that you did, all the way you hurt me, the deceit and conniving you did, you were never gonna get me. I just did that to get you to sign. And he could actually say, wait a minute, what's going on? He went and closed that door, and he said, Victoria, what are you talking about? We have the money. We can start over. We have money for a startup. We could start over. We could be together. And she was like, I would never be with you. You lied to me. You did me dirty. And he was just like, and she was like, and you don't even want to admit that you did it. And so she just was telling Ashlyn how hurt she was by him and how humiliated and embarrassed she was. And she was like, and now you're the one who gets to feel that. You know, that feeling of right now that you're feeling? That's how I've been feeling. And so I had to push myself to tell you I was going to be with you and everything. And so now you're the one who's being lied to, humiliated, and embarrassed. And he says, I know you loved me. And she was like, with the way you just deceived me, you lied about having cancer. And so Ashley went ahead and came clean and told her, yes, I lied about having cancer. It was a con from the beginning. When I found out Harrison wasn't my real son, the old what do they call him? Lock, you know, the animal. But anyways, he said, yes, he came back, and I wanted revenge, and I wanted vengeance. And she said, and so you saw me. And she said, and it was perfect, because she said, I was wondering, why is he involved? We just like really met. Why is he involving me in his cancer scare and everything? She said, because you know it was going to be that instant emotional bond for us. And because of that instant emotional bond, I believed everything. She said, but I'm mad at myself because deep down I knew. She said, you stole a man's identity and pretended it to be yours. You conned someone out of their fortune. and everything. And everything you have is a con. And she said, but I wanted to believe that you had changed because of me. And he said, I have changed. I love you. She said, no, 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 no. You couldn't have loved me and signed those papers for to be co-CEO. See, that's where he messed up. See, if he never had signed those papers when it started coming and just told her to wait, she said, but you signed those papers and everything, and knowing what you had did, knowing you were wrong for what you had did. And I mean, he couldn't really say anything except that I love you. I know I hurt you and everything, but I love you, and I know you love me too, and we could get through this. Like, he still thinks she was going to walk away with him. Now, Victoria is still in love with him, and she still wanted to run away with him, but her pride just wouldn't let her do it. Like, your daddy just spent 500 million. And that's how you know he didn't really love her. He can say all day that I'm a changed man and I want to be with you and I love you. But at the end of the day, you were making, even to leave town, you were still making back passageways to get all this money, the 500 million. But it was still a con deal for you because you were conning her family to get the 500 million while you were like, okay, let's run away together, girl. Let's run away together, Victoria. Come on, my love, let's run away. But you're conning her family so that you can start this new life. Like, come on now, that's not love. And she tells him that that's not love, what you feel for me. But he swears it is, and then she says no. But so he ends up admitting everything to her, and she says, I've just been such a fool. I could never love you, knowing the fool how I've been because of you and everything. And she said, and all the people you lied to, you lied about cancer. You lied about cancer. And she said, and look what you did to your son. You made Harrison believe his father was dying and everything. She was like, no, I could never be with you. I could never be with someone like you. And so he says, well, I guess there's only one thing that I could say, and it's I'm sorry. And so Victoria then, and he leaves. And so they alert Victor, and then he says, Victoria gets upset, because she feels like such a fool. So it's a picture of her and Ashland, even though she wearing that blue dress, sleeveless, one sleeve dress. And she turns the picture down, and then she looks at the picture that he put up in the office, excuse me. And she takes that picture and destroys it. And so then Victor gets an alert to his phone, and they said Ashland has left, and they say Victoria's still in the office and everything. So they wait a little bit because they say, let's give her a few minutes. And then they go down and they say, Nick calls, and they go down to the office and they see where she's destroyed. And Nikki's like, who would do this? Ashland would do this. I'm like, girl, y'all are supposed to be billionaires. Don't be like this. And they said, Nick calls and they say, your sister left about 5 minutes ago. She was alone. And they were like, oh, Victoria, she must be in so much pain. And Nikki's about to call her, and they said, no, give us a break. And they said, okay, guys, let's go. Nick is like, I know you were concerned about Victoria, but she's strong. She just needs a minute by herself. So he says, let's go meet at society and have a celebratory dinner for getting Ashland out of our life. And just, Victoria will be okay. And Adam says, that's cool, but I'm going to have to pass because I got other things to do. And so he leaves. And then they say, that Nick goes and he's gonna meet them later on. So he leaves, right? And he goes and talks to Sharon, and he tells Sharon about everything that's happened. And he says, but he thinks it's gonna be hard to get Adam out of the CEO seat. And they're just like, she's just like, oh, okay. And then Victor and Nikki go, and they go and eat dinner. Okay, now Adam goes back to his office and he talks to Sally, and he says, my plan worked. We got him out. And she was like, congratulations. And he said, no, I didn't ask about, because we can't hear Sally's side, but he says, no, I didn't ask about, my side, me moving, keep staying in position or whatever. I didn't ask about any of that. It didn't seem like the right time. So he's supposed to meet Sally for dinner or whatever. So he goes over to Sally's place, and Sally took care of her man. She got the rose petals on the bed. She got the champagne going. She got the, nice atmosphere with the candles. She got it going. And he's like, okay, well, Sally, but she's not there. And she leaves a note. And so that says, I'll be right back. She had to do something, and she'll be right back. So That's Sally on the road. We know Victoria's on the road. So then, and now we know, and we know Rafe is on the road. So, um, then we go to Nikki and Victor, and Victoria calls Nikki. And Victoria is a mess. She is like foggy. One is foggy. Two, she's crying. Three, she's driving too fast and everything. And four, she's on the phone. So she's talking to Nikki, and she's just like, Mom, never think it'll be the same. It won't be okay. And Nikki said, Baby, pull over and let me and your dad come to you. We'll come to you. Because she could tell Victoria didn't need to be on the road like this. And Victoria was like, it's just, oh, my mom, what am I supposed to do with this love? Nothing to ever be the same. This girl had a wreck. She done hit somebody, and Nikki's like, Victoria. And Victor sits up. He's like, because he could tell something is wrong. Now, who Victoria hit? Now, we know Rafe is leaving the show, so the easy answer would be that it's Rafe. But I think Sally is going to be involved in this some kind of way too, because why wasn't she there or whatever? But I don't know. You tell me what you think. That was the Young and the Restless today, guys.